Good morning, everyone. Okay. We'll just get started as people come in and settle down. We are waiting. Oh, there's our last panelist, James. Come on up.
Hi, morning, James.
So, good morning, and thank you for turning up in the morning. Hope you're all having a great Union Week. And I'm so delighted to see so many friends and people who hopefully will be friends in the future turn up, and so much interest in this topic. And please tell us if our understanding of what we think we are doing is correct. We think we are doing something new in the community engagement space as far as rolling out of new treatments is concerned. So we're sharing something that we have done that we believe is new. Please interact, engage, and tell us what you think. So just to lay that context, but then now that we've got people settled in, I'll start with introductions. I'm Sandeep Juneja. I head the access function at the nonprofit product development partnership, TB Alliance. And I'm joined by my co-chair, Desi Kumar from GCTA. So let me just set the context a little further, and then I'll pass it along to Desi. So what we'll be speaking about today is Fast Track the Cure. It's a community-led initiative for demand creation of new TB treatments. The idea of Fast Track the Cure came from somebody from the communities who's not attending the conference today, but many of you might know him. His name is Saurabh Rane. He's an MDR TB survivor from India. He, along with another community member, he helps TB Alliance on our Access Advisory Committee. He challenges us, he pushes us, he makes us think differently. So he came up with an idea which we had never thought about. He said, think about an initiative where you use the power of social media and social media science to disseminate messages very effectively. So normally, community engagement projects that people like us, drug developers, etc., nonprofits have, are on a country-by-country basis. He said, do that, but then allow them to work with each other across boundaries and share their experiences using systematic, methodical social media science. We thought that's never been done before. We searched and we found no. I mean, people post things on social media, but do you go about creating assets in a manner that they actually, or posts in a manner that get picked up around the world? Now, we haven't got things going viral, but actually that has, compared to some of the other community projects, we saw a big difference in the work when done using that science by our partners compared to others. So we'll speak about that. So that's how it came about. And some interesting work that's been done by our partners, the Fast Track the Cure partners. It's presently in 4 countries. It's in Vietnam, Indonesia, Philippines, and India. And just very quick examples of very diverse level work done by our partners in those countries, all with the bedrock of social media under them, is in Vietnam, SCDI came up with an idea of disseminating messages through comics, and they went for it because they felt it worked very well over there, and you'll hear about that. In the Philippines, the team thought it would be a good idea to engage with policymakers. Now, policymakers in our world has always been national TB programs. And they said, no, we've got to work with city mayors. And we said, sure, I mean, whatever you think will work. And that has worked. At city level in the Philippines, a lot of mayors have got involved in creating demand for MDR TB treatments. In Indonesia, the team YKI is here, and they made everybody dance to their tune. And we are going to do that later today. Today or Friday, right?
Friday.
Friday.
Tomorrow
Okay.
and Friday.
They came up with a jingle, and it's irresistibly catchy. So hopefully we'll play that today. And that has engaged so many more people than you could do organically one by one. And GCTA in India approached the problem for a specific issue we had in India about the policy change to implement new treatments. So they did a lot of policy advocacy, which was the need of the hour. In the other countries, Vietnam, Philippines, Indonesia, decision was taken to roll out new treatments, so they supported scale up. In India, GCTA supported decision making. So it's been very diverse. It's been very responsive to the situation on the ground, but it's also got a very heavy social media element to it. So our panelists, thank you for joining us early in the morning. Will be sharing their experiences, the work they have done, and please ask, please interact, and tell us what's your suggestion. Are we doing the right thing? We should be doing it any differently. And with that, I'll hand over to my co-chair, Blessy Kumar. And Blessy, thank you for joining us today. You've got incredibly more perspective than I do. So I'd prefer you run most of the meeting today. Okay.
Thank you so much, Sandeep, and thank you to TB Alliance for organizing a session such as this, and also demonstrating that we all need to join hands together to make things happen at the ground level. So we talk about the TB journey of an individual, but today I want you to actually think of the journey of a new tool. When a new tool is born, there's a lot of excitement. The whole world goes viral talking about it. And then we forget about it. And people on the ground are still thinking, oh, we heard about this fantastic, short, safer regimen that was developed. Where is it? When am I, as an XDR-TB patient or an MDR-TB patient, going to get it? When is my life going to be saved? And that is the end point and the crux that we need to think about today. Because whatever new tools, however fantastic they are, if they do not reach the people who need them, it is waste of resources, energy, everything that we've put into it. And that's where the fast track, the cure, comes in to bridge that gap. And I think it was a humble initiative, by TB Alliance. It should go much bigger because we've learned lessons from the countries, and this is also something we tried for the very first time, right? Looking at what are the barriers that are stopping people accessing the results of this amazing research and development. And also it's a question of justice. It's a question of human rights. 2018, we were all very excited when we heard, the UNHLM top 10 recommendations had two things that really resonated with TB community: addressing stigma and discrimination and human rights violations. And I think if we need to take that into account, then we need to ensure that the last person who needs these tools, new tools, the new regimens, gets them. And we have really seen amazing, in small ways, whether it is through comic books, whether it is through jingles, whether it is through hard-hitting advocacy, naming and shaming. We've tried it, and we've seen the success. So the challenge from development to WHO, pre-qualification, and then it seems to stop. There's a big gap between that and countries adopting it. And we need to ensure that that is shortened. And then from countries adopting to developing country-level guidelines, trainings that need to happen within the country, and then reaching to the people. And we hear this word demand creation. Who can demand? Think about it. If you are disempowered at the grassroots level, where is the ability to demand? You need to invest in communities to build empowerment and engagement with the community so that communities can come forward and engage with everyone and demand for it. And I think these are some of the gaps that we see. I know we talk about a lot of things, but the simple thing is there are gaps, and who is willing to step in that gap and make things happen to save lives of the people at the ground level. So that's what, for me, this whole Fast Track the Cure has been about. And we have an amazing group of speakers here. And I'd like to introduce our first speaker, who's Robin. And she's going to talk to us a little bit about Fast Track the Cure. And Robin works with the TB Alliance, manages the project, and supports Fast Track the Cure. And she's also been, I remember telling Robin right in the beginning, it's like a breath of fresh air in the TB community where we hear the same things over and over and over again. Somebody told me yesterday that this is their 30th union conference. And just hearing that made me feel tired. I'm reaching that stage soon, I think. So thank you so much, Robin. Over to you now.
Thank you. Blessy. Test. Is this, oh, there we go. Hello, everyone. My name's Robin, and it's an absolute pleasure to be here with you today. Thank you so much for coming out to support the Fast Track the Cure initiative this morning. I essentially work as a secretariat for Fast Track the Cure. So I'm going to kick us off this morning by giving us the high-level overview of the project before you hear from our partners in country doing the work on the ground. I do have a conflict of interest to declare. I work as a consultant with the TB Alliance, and I am their access advocacy lead. All right, so traditionally, the road to access to new TB tools and treatments is long, typically taking about 9 years. And traditionally, these processes are really lacking in systematic, intentional engagement with communities who are directly affected. So at the TB Alliance, as we've already described, we're not just a not-for-profit focused on discovering and developing new medicines. We're very committed to delivery of new medicines because we want new, simpler, safer medicines to actually reach those who need them. So we are investing systematically in making that happen. And one of our priority areas is community engagement. So civil society organizations and affected communities are there building demand for new treatments in their communities. And they're also supporting their rollout. So the rollout is way more people-centered than if they weren't involved. So Fast Track the Cure is a community-led initiative really created to raise awareness of and expand and accelerate access to new TB treatments. We launched in March 2023, focused primarily on BPaL, BPaL-M, because that is the new regimen of the day. But we do have intentions to work beyond BPaL, BPaL-M into the future. Initially, we launched as a pilot project with 4 implementing partners, those who you see here today: Yuri from YKI, An from SCDI, Blessy from GCTA, and Louis from TB People Philippines. We also have 37 endorsing partners at the moment, and these endorsing partners are there to provide light touch support to amplify the work of our implementing partners and also to put to use the assets that our implementing partners develop so they can benefit from them as well. And lastly, we have 2 sponsoring partners. So the main sponsor is TB Alliance, and we're also supported by the Stop TB Partnership, which is why we have James here today. So what do Fast Track the Cure and our partners do, and why? Firstly, we're working to educate communities so they understand new TB treatment regimens. We're also working then to raise awareness of these new regimens amongst communities. So they're sensitized and more likely to be comfortable accepting the new regimens or asking questions if they might have any questions about them. That also plays a key role in then demand generation within communities too. Thirdly, we're facilitating community-led engagement in the TB treatment response. And again, this is because we want those responses to be people-centered. That can look like having peer supporters to support people through the TB treatment experience. It could be community partners engaging in community-led monitoring so that we understand how BPaL, BPaL-M is being rolled out and we can troubleshoot any gaps and challenges being discovered, etc. And lastly, we are capacitating TB-affected communities to engage meaningfully with their NTPs. So we want to facilitate and broker relationships so all partners are working hand in hand. Our model right now, Sandeep alluded to this really well, and this image on screen came from, I think, one of the first strategy decks that I developed after joining TB Alliance, and it really showed how we're not just going to work with our partners in country and leave it at that. We're then going to bring in the power of social media to extend the reach of the work that those partners are doing and make more of an impact, ideally. So another really big part of this model, beyond the digital strategy side, is that we co-created it with communities. So when we first launched, our implementing partners were part of the developing of the campaign process. So we came up with the name together. We came up with the logo together. We came up with the hashtag 6 months max together. We're also committed to facilitating cross-country sharing of experiences, ideas, and resources between partners, and we do this through monthly Fast Track the Cure partner calls, and also we have a WhatsApp group, and we stay connected on a regular basis there and have some fun at the same time. At TB Alliance, we've seen it as really important to contribute that secretariat type resource and support. So that's the role that I play. I do all the admin to bring partners together, to share information, et cetera, and to set things like this up. And then also being goal-oriented in a way that empowers our partners to adapt their strategies and tactics for local context. So our campaign has cohesion at a high level, but how it's implemented in countries varies depending on the local needs and what partners' skill sets and strengths are. And then lastly, we're working in synergy with like initiatives. So for example, the Challenge Facility for Civil Society and also the 146 by 24 campaign. Achievements to date, and I hope you all walk away and leverage some of these resources. We've developed a really extensive library of survivor and users of BPaL, BPaL-M in the form of videos, comics, pamphlets. We've also engaged with influencers on social media quite effectively, and we've developed a number of different educational resources. So, for example, GCTA developed a training manual to support you to educate your communities about the new regimen and activate them to action. And I just want to point out here on screen, recently we handed over the results of our Fast Track the Cure petition that we had live for about a year. And we had more than 15,000 people sign this petition calling for rapid adoption and rollout of the new BPaL, BPaL-M regimen. And it was a big hit at the high-level meeting side event that Stop TB Partnership supported. Okay, so Sandeep was mentioning that we intentionally invested in social media. So I'm going to show you the power of that investment. So I think you might all be familiar with the 146 by 24 campaign. This is a snapshot of the performance of that campaign on social media. So people are posting about it, they're talking about it, but there isn't necessarily like a coordinated strategic social media plan behind it. We have definitely put that strategic social media plan into place for Fast Track the Cure. And this is what we're seeing. So we're seeing daily engagement with Fast Track the Cure, 10 mentions a day. We're seeing 3.22K mentions in total just this year in comparison to 307 from 146 times 24 campaign. And our engagement is particularly impressive. People are engaging by clicking, liking, resharing, watching the content that's being shared. Some other achievements to date, we're seeing increased awareness of BPaL-M amongst affected communities. We're seeing stronger stakeholder support from policymakers in project countries, and I know Yuri's going to give you some really strong examples of that soon. We're seeing community partners and influencers effectively engage in advocacy and awareness raising. One that I'm particularly proud of is Maria Smilios, the author of The Black Angels. She is a Fast Track the Cure ambassador, working quite closely with us now. We're surfacing community needs and experiences with new treatments, and I know Louie will speak to this. She's been doing site visits to understand what's happening from the patient perspective with BPaL, BPaL treatment experiences, and then troubleshooting any challenges or gaps she's seen. And we're seeing strengthened collaborations between community partners and their health authorities. 1 minute, thank you, great. So, challenges, lessons learned, and considerations for like projects. We want to share our knowledge and experience so you can go away and make use of it. Top lesson learned and thing to consider is let communities lead. Like, just let communities lead. Set something up, get out of the way, and support them to do their thing. It will have way more impact and way more ownership and pizzazz attached to the work you're doing then. Learn from leaders and communities where they're working. So, for example, I've leveraged the knowledge from James often. I reach out to him, tell him what challenges we're experiencing, pick his brain, because Stop TB Partnership is a leader in communities' rights and gender, and they have lots to share. There's also the guidance on engagement of communities and civil society to NTB that the World Health Organization Civil Society Task Force developed. So that's coming from communities themselves saying, this is how you should work with us. So read that and put it into practice. Sharing learnings and lessons across countries and partners is working really well. Staying agile and flexible in your relationship management and approach is necessary because all community partners operate slightly differently and have different strengths, skill sets, and experiences. And then lastly, we need to invest more in communities. So we're here today to say we're here investing, but we would love to see others step up and contribute to the Fast Track the Cure initiative alongside us as well. And we for sure need to figure out our M&E framework a little bit better. It's hard to measure the impact of advocacy sometimes. So if anyone here in this room has more experience and wants to share that with us, please do. And I just want to end with next steps. We're working on scaling up to more high-burden countries right now. The request for proposals that we recently closed had 71 applications come in. That's massive demand. Thank you so much for the interest. So we are just getting started. Hope to continue to work with our partners here today and more of you in the room into the future so that we can fast track the cure.
6 months max.
Fast track the cure.
6 months max.
All right. And that's all from me.
6 months max.
Thank you, Robin. So our next speaker is Dr. Jeremiah Runtu, or we call him Yere. He likes to be called that way. He's the Associate Director of Yayasan KNCV Indonesia, or YKI. And he specializes in delivering technical assistance to projects along with the rest of the YKI team on TB elimination. And he has several years of experience in managing numerous TB projects, including the BPaL-based regimen introduction for DRTB in Indonesia. And Yere will share the journey of BPaL, BPaL-M adoption in Indonesia while speaking to the role of national advocacy and awareness building, which ended up in securing a very high-level commitment from Indonesia for implementing BPaL, and really brought Indonesia to the forefront of among front runners among the countries that were rapidly implementing BPaL. So, Yere, excited to have you here and to hear directly from you your experience.
Yep. Selamat pagi. Good morning, everyone. Hope you enjoy the maybe second and third day in Bali. Thank you very much, Sandeep and Robin and Blessy for chairing this session. I will thank the organizer for inviting us in this very important symposium to share our experiences and lessons learned to fast-track the BPaL-based regimen in Indonesia. I represent Yayasan KNCV Indonesia, as you know as KNCV Indonesia, an NGO based in Indonesia with a vision to end TB and related public health issues. And YKI also serves as an implementing partner of the Fast Track the Cure, you know as FTTC Global Campaign in Indonesia. Today, I would like to share our experiences in collaboration with the Ministry of Health, Republic of Indonesia, in raising awareness and spreading information, access to the new 6-month DRTB treatment in Indonesia. Under the title, Presentation, Fast Track the BPaL-based regimen Accessibility in Indonesia, Sharing Challenges and Success Stories. Yeah, before we begin, I would like to acknowledge the support from the Stop TB Partnership through the Challenge Facility Grant and the FTTC from the TB Alliance. Yeah, this is the overview of my slides about the campaign, achievements so far, also the challenges and lessons learned, and lastly, how we collaborate with other countries to foster the campaign in Indonesia and beyond. Let me go back a few steps. So this is the timeline about the campaign. So as you know that the Ministry of Health of Republic Indonesia and YKI are actively conducting a campaign to raise public awareness and improve access to information on this new regimen recommended by WHO. This campaign is part of the global Fast Track the Cure, which we have localized, as you know, as the Sembuh Lebih Cepat. So Sembuh is cure and Lebih Cepat is fast track. So we localize into the bahasa Sembuh Lebih Cepat. And this Sembuh Lebih Cepat campaign was officially launched at World TB Day Indonesia this year, this March, in collaboration with Ministry of Health of Indonesia and all TB partners, stakeholders in our country. But back in 2019, we also started the study for the BPaL, so it's far beyond the adoption and implementation widely in Indonesia. And in 2022, YKI through Lift TB project, thanks to the TB Alliance, began to support the operational research. Here also Professor Erlina is the PI. Enrolling in 15 DRTB facilities began in July 2022 until March 2023. And when the WHO recommendation is come, in the end of 2022, the country also began to prepare the scale up for this BPaL-based regimen implementation. And mentioned by Robin, in April 2023, YKI joined the Fast Track the Cure initiative, focusing on advocacy, team capacity building, resource development, and campaign planning to prepare for the main side of this new regimen. So you see our unique opportunity and experience that we support the health system through the Lift TB project and also support the demand creation from the Fast Track the Cure and Challenge Facility Grant. Okay, let me. So, what is our campaign? Sembuh Lebih Cepat campaign is aimed to ensure that information about the new 6-month treatment regimen for DRTB, BPaL-based regimen as recommended by WHO, is accessible for wider community in Indonesia, especially for those affected by DRTB through these objectives and target audiences. So we educate, empower, encourage, and assist healthcare workers also in adopting this new 6-month DRTB regimen. And mainly for the target audiences is people with DRTB, TB survivor organization, and other CSO, and also the general population. As the next step in our campaign, we have formulated various strategies and tactics, and it depends on who we reach and engage. So as you see on the screen, the first one is the government. We developed strategy to advocate right on the top to the Ministry of Health and the key policymakers, and using the tactics, utilize data of the operational research, Lift TB project of this regimen, and also the key policymakers via webinars. And other stakeholders, like the local offices, the local offices, the healthcare workers, and TBCSOs, and also the influencers, we empower them through the campaign partner to conduct local campaign. We do the workshop in 5 districts, so the participant is, I think, more than 550. And our team also developed a campaign asset on the landing page. You may visit the landing page, sembuhlebihcepat.yki4tbc.org, and you may see all the assets that Robin mentioned before, and we have nearly 300,000, 300 assets, and you can use it with free. And to reach the people with the RTB survivors and the general population, we use engaging information, education, and communication materials, IEC materials, including survivor stories. As you see in the Robin slide, it's one of story from the teachers, how the RTB treatment has impacted his life and his family. Through the visual media like videos, comics, and leaflet. Moreover, success stories and updates on the new 6-month DRTB treatment also share via email newsletter, which we reach more than 15,000 accounts. Additionally, we engage the RTB survivor, people with DRTB and non-TB stakeholders through workshops, encouraging survivors to share their stories, involving, you may call it unusual TB stakeholders, musicians, writers, and conventional media through newspaper to help spread information about the treatment beyond the health sector. And then this is several of our assets, and you can look better the comic, the video, and also the testimonial for patient in the Community Connect in the exhibition hall. So we believe that campaign media is crucial to supporting the success of our strategies and tactics. Some materials like digital posters and infographics with key messages are designed to reach all audiences through social media. For the general public who may have limited exposure to TB information, we use engaging, easy to follow media such as jingles, as mentioned by Sandeep, to actively engage and inform. You can visit the exhibition hall during our union conference and the film showcase on November 14 on 12 until 1 p.m. at the Community Connect Auditorium. And allow me to play one of the top assets that gone viral. So yeah, we can do it later and at the lunch and learn by Friday, and also tomorrow at the exhibition hall. Oops, I don't touch anything. Let me play once again. Oops. Okay, this one. Oops. Okay. So yeah, all the lyrics that you hear in Bahasa is only contains key messages. So that's how we educate our general public to remember that now the RTB is 6 months max. So that's the key messages that we want to amplify day by day through the fun and educative way. And this is our milestone. So since last year, we joined the Fast Track the Cure. Okay, 1 minute max. We reached 1.8 million audiences through the social media and conventional media with more than 40 campaign partners. Thank you for this partner that come here. 4 influencers, 5 singers, and 2 writers. And also not to mention the World TB Day webinar that Minister of Health came with attendance of more than 80,000 viewers. That Minister of Health, Minister Budi, endorsed that the BPaL-based regimen should cover all nationwide. And until now, I think we have more than 3,000 people with the RTB treated by BPaL-based regimen. Okay, of course we encounter some challenges. Although you see Indonesia is fast-moving policy and implementation. Of course, the first one is stigma, but we try to engage not only the patient, but also the communities around the patient, like the local government, and also access to digital campaign. We do also the conventional media. As you see, I wearing jackets. This is a limited edition, and you can get it in the Lunch and Learn in Friday. So this is a jacket that you see the key messages. And in the front is NTB. Fast track the 6 months max. And the others is stakeholder commitment remains limited also the health sector, and this is how we engage not only with the health sector but also the media, influencer, musician, and also the offices, local office for the communication and information. So it is business as usual, not a business as usual. I mean, we must engage out of the health sector. And this is the lesson learned. We collaborate with health influencers, singers, writers, and news media to broaden audience reach. A fun and easy to understand campaign approach increase audience engagement and interest. We unexpectedly that the jingle gone viral. Oops. Yeah, this is right. And high level commitment, of course, this is the key for our campaign. And thanks to our partners from the Stop TB and also the TB Alliance for making the national campaign is also the global campaign, and we share all the global updates into the local context in the local bahasa. And I think in the upcoming weeks we also conduct local district which engage more than 100,000 people in 3 cities in Malang, Surabaya, and Semarang, and we welcoming you all in those 3 cities to feel how the campaign is localized in Indonesia. And lastly, okay, 1 minute, Sandip. This is the most important part. The success of the campaign would have not been possible without the extra support and collaboration from various parties. Thank you for the donors, Stop TB Partnership and TB Alliance, also the Fast Track the Cure initiative. We also extend our thanks to implementing partners. Congratulations to SCDI, GCT, and TB People Philippines. We also appreciate all the partners in Indonesia. I see the TBTV here for Professor Erlina, for the Ministry of Health, local offices, provincial, district, and CSO, and also TB community organization. And lastly, we also thank you to TB survivor and their families for sharing their stories and journeys. I think this last slide. Please visit us on social media and landing page sembuhlebihcepat.yki4tbc.org for further collaboration. Let me close with pantun in English. Batik and smiles beneath Bali's sun. Nusa Dua's beauty second to none. At the Union World Conference, we stand as one, committed to ending TB for a healthier world we have begun. Terima kasih.
All right. That was a great session. Thank you so much. It's my honor now to invite Louise Zepeda Tang from Philippines. And she is a wife and mother to 2 children. In 2006, while working as an architect, she contracted TB and was initially treated for 6 months with drug-sensitive TB treatment, and then later found that actually she had DRTB, and then had a very long and challenging treatment. And she lost her vision, her eyesight, due to the side effects. And she has used this challenge and channeled it to be a very strong global TB advocate, making a big difference in Philippines, of course. And I must also say that the great supporter for her to ensure that she functions as a global advocate is Marcus, her husband, who travels with her. And so Louis founded TB People Philippines, that is leading the community engagement fight against TB in the Philippines. And I would like to now call on Louis to share with us what her organization has been doing on Fast Track the Cure. Over to you, Louis.
Thank you, Tita Leslie. I love you. Tita has been my tita ever since the Global Coalition of TB Activists back in 2013 in my first participation in the union. And I have been doing a lot of things because of that mentorship. Thank you so much. So again, I think I was already introduced. My name is Louis Girl, and this is my site for the Louis Boy. Yeah, he's my eyes. So our title is
People who experience TB can help speed access to new treatments like BPaL. And this is the story of TB People Philippines.
Okay, of course, back in the union first years, it's all about my sad story. And it's been very, every time that I return, I have something new to give. And this time around, it's because of the project given to us by Global TB Alliance. And of course, to my dear Doc Mamel Calapia over there, for believing in me after she was my doctor back in Tropical Disease Foundation, promoting me as a leader in the locality, and now promoting me internationally. So thank you, Doc. A conflict of interest, I was, of course, a consultant of TB Alliance back in 2016, resumed 2020, and I was able to get this Lift TB project in 2021. And also Stop TB Partnership for all of our challenge facility for civil society, because all of these projects contributed to what we have now designed and has been very effective, and you will see later. Next.
Okay, so for the overview, I will talk over the overview real fast. So about the Fast Track the Cure campaign, we'll talk about that in the Philippines. Next is the campaign strategies that we did, the 6 E's. So you learn about the 6 E's that we did. And the other milestones and achievements that we have done over the past years. And then we will give you the most important campaign success, letter E, to our campaign. So next is, here's a bit about the campaign.
Okay. So again, 2021, I started the Lift TB project. Doc Mamel told me, you will be trained for all of the regimens. I memorized all of the medications, all the side effects, who's responsible, regimens 1 to 7, individual treatment regimen, up to the introduction of BPaL. Thank you to WHO, KNCV, Global TB Alliance, of course, and My Lung Center research team in the Philippines for educating us all about all of the global context, local context, and all of the requirements in our government before a new tool comes to the country. And in program implementation review in February 2023, approved. All of the operational research sites, 12 sites in the country, was able to make 98% success of all of our BPaL users, one of which is our celebrity last night, Jojin Mangalaya. Stan. So he's. I met him in one of my site visits for the joint program review of Department of Health, and he was told by my husband, staring at us through a tree in one of the provinces, and then I asked him, "Come here. What's so much wrong with you?" Turns out he's a BPaL user, and I think I need to talk to you once you're finished, because I think I have a project that I think you can help out. And then his story was very powerful. And we were able to get the signing of our new regimen in December 1, 2023. I remember Doc Mamel telling me, "Louis, make noise. You have to let them know that the OR sites are finished. All of the 98% of the patients are successful. It's all a matter of the Department of Health making this programmatic." And it happened before 2023 ended, and now we started this year by rolling out all of these medications, all of the 17 regions in the country. And the Fast Track the Cure was very exact when it was offered to me. It's all about social media engagements, looking for influencers, how to make sure that I provide that that system that I can do grassroots efforts and then check the enabling environment for all of the health facilities providing the BPaL medication. Year 2? Okay, engage. Okay. And then, of course, with the Lift TB, I was able to really get survivor faces. How can we get the audience regarding these new tools, these new regimens? And we have 187 dialects in the country. And I started with just 8. I got 12 survivors to create all of these IEC materials. OR site visits, we had to have survivors from those locations. And we had to make sure that we are understood by all of the local government, all of the health facilities. That's why we were able to create all of these materials. Yes, there. And then with all of these engagements, we were able to really talk to the city. We call this the CH, Regional Department of Health first, courtesy calls, and then go to the mayors, and then go to the city health offices with, of course, the help, the guidance of our research team, Doc Mamel and Doc Jing Flores. And then we were able to really make them see the role of the civil society in the rolling out of these new tools and regimens. Of course, TB-MAC, TB Medical Advisory Committee. I had no idea how they were able to really diagnose all of these individualized treatment regimens for patients. And we understand all of the pro bono that they're doing. We really appreciate the TB-MAC group on how all of these side effects are really collaborated by all of these doctors on all of the regions, and we really want to support the TB-MAC in the all of this co-financing grants in the country, because they just help out any patient coming from all of the 17 regions. But I don't know if they really are supported by our local national government. There. The enabling environment, again, with the help of the Lift TB project, I now know what should be the empowerment for these survivors, for them to know what's wrong and what's right. We were able to understand all of the regimens again, all of the laboratories that we're supposed to be going through, and all of the reversion, conversion, all of the protocols that our research team has created. We want them to know what to say to all of our newly diagnosed, all of the general public, because most of the time, they just don't listen to our doctors, nurses. They listen to us, those who survived the disease. Yes. So there. So I've already trained the survivors who can be the spokesperson from their area, who can use their local dialects, and then we were able to really do all of our discipleships. Thank you to Stop TB Partnership for giving me that grant as well, making sure that my knowledge will be like like Jesus, planting seeds along the way, making sure that we create these leaders on all of these regions. And our discipleship, we were able to create 5 because of the assistance from Stop TB Partnership. We just use the Lift TB idea, make use of the platform that Fast Track the Cure has given me, and then of course the civil society grad from Stop TB Partnership, making me more politically inclined. And also, with all of our engagements, grassroots, we have the social media, of course, and then the mainstream media. All of those engagements actually attracted all of the radios, stations, the network, TV networks. Jojin became a very viral feature, and we were really seeing the increase of our social media from just 500 now to 3,500 followers, because we are informing the country about what needs to be demanded by them. And there, when I told him we need to talk, I might use your story, I was able to make a small video of Joy's life story with 4 other BPaL users, successful stories from all over the country. And that has been very useful for those who are now using the BPaL video. Go.
I am Ana Cristina Pelayo from Magalang, Pampanga. I was diagnosed XDR-TB.
Ako po ay si Nilda Hitosis Villa ng Barangay Gugun, Kasiguran, Sorsogon. Nagkaroon po ako ng drug-resistant TB.
Ako po si Pedro Dokot from Bacon, Sorsogon, nag-drug-resistant tuberculosis.
Si Arman Sibilla, taon ko 53, katira sa Ilang, Davao City.
Hi, my name is Jojen V. Mangelaya, 30 years old, from Cebu, Philippines, with DRTB. Na-convinced naman ako na mag-enroll sa new regimen or novel regimen.
Nung naranasan ko na, nung nakainom na ako ng gamot, sa loob ng 2 linggo na.
And the last one is embrace. After the Philippine Rodrigo Duterte, before he left his administration, he signed this law regarding local government, making sure all of the policies is there, but all of the commitments needs to be downgraded to the local government. So all of the primary care services has been assumed to be, I won't do anything anymore for that one. You local government mayors will have to take charge, own the problem. So even our global fund did the same. So we will lessen the money there. So because we're assuming the mayors will have more, more funding for all of these basic services. But it was not happening that fast. I mean, now I think they're starting to understand the universal health care law, but still, all of the mayors, 1,200 municipal mayors, 190 city mayors, still has no idea about the law. So that's what we're trying to understand. What do you know how to budget for these kinds of requests by our new medications? We need to have that enabling environment. Super health centers needs to be done. But for them, next year we'll fund for that next year because we were not informed by our Department of Health early on. So that's what we do. We try to look for all of them giving us their commitment. Political commitment is what we need because of the national, regional, local, they're fragmented. They don't talk to each other that much. We even met a mayor saying, they're not giving me cartridges because the other municipalities are powerful than us. We only have 2 MDR patients. Even one of them died because the health worker wasn't able to remember him. Again. So this is what we were able to collect from the Lift TB to the Fast Track the Cure campaign.
My name is Lucy Torres Gomez and I am Mayor of Ormoc City, Philippines. I support TB People Philippines in their campaign, Fast Track the Cure.
Hi, I am Roland Polino Jr., the City Mayor of Olongapo City. I am pleased to express our support for the TB People Philippines, the DOH, the WHO, in their initiative for the Fast Track the Cure campaign.
Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. Ako po si Jennifer Austria Barsaga, City Mayor ng City of Dasmariñas. Ang pamahalang lungsod ng Dasmariñas ay nakikiisa sa TB People PH at World Health Organization sa kanilang Fast Track the Cure campaign.
Greetings to everyone at TB People Philippines Organization Inc. I stand with you.
Yeah, okay. So we're running out of time. We're very sorry. We wanted to show you a lot of videos and pictures. So it's on YouTube. You can follow us on TB People Philippines YouTube and you can watch those. And for the other milestones and achievements on TB People Philippines on the Fast Track the Cure campaign, we have made lots of engagements using our BPaL champion, Jojen Mangelaya, at the regional meeting at the Sofitel Plaza, the Philippines. During the PeerLink event, the PeerLink event will have a side event here in November 15, right? As well, so you can check that out. And then we also participated in the Guinness World Record, the biggest human lung formation. And then other milestones are we also partnered with the private healthcare facilities and private companies. So we have currently we have oriented 15 private companies and 60 plus health facilities visited and oriented. in the country. And here is our next milestone to be released. We are very happy to be coming out with another comics. You have seen the comics #1, and you have with you comics #1 in your hands. But we will come out with a new comics all about information about BPaL, the BPaL regimen. So thank you also for the Peerlink team for doing the run through of our and approving of the information in the comics. So the challenges and lessons learned.
So there are no funding. We won't be able to go to all of these 17 regions. Thank you to TB Alliance, thank you to Fast Track the Cure, and also to our other funders.
All right.
Thank you so much. And most importantly, I've done my part. My group has really been very active. I think it's time for you to call to action. We won't be able to end this, according to the WHO, 127 years before it ends in my country. So I hope while we're still here, we make all of the efforts to do bayanihan, nation building. For all of these countries, I hope we inspire you, and I hope I'll still be able to hear all of you for the coming years. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Louis. Thank you, Louis boy. Louis is, in a way, working with TB Philippines, TB People Philippines, back in the day, many years ago, was, I think, the first community organization that, at the very least, I engaged with around access. And BPaL was still to be introduced, and we were trying to figure out what is it that we should be doing or not doing and how we should go about it. So, and Louis was very instrumental in shaping, at the very least, my thinking. So thank you, Louis, for being really a teacher and a mentor in that. And she's the one who encouraged us to work with more and more people. And what you're seeing today, sorry, this was not planned, but what I'm seeing organically emerge is what's been a picture in my mind, that the communities do what's necessary in their, countries by themselves, and you're just enabling it. It's kind of a bouquet rather than a very well-designed, fixed plan. It's a bouquet that evolves, and put together, it does its job. No, thank you, Louis. Our next speaker is An from SCDI, Vietnam. An is the communications officer at SCDI, and she's developed numerous TB multimedia assets and engaged in diversified TB communications and advocacy. And in Fast Track the Cure, An implemented the initiative to explore stories of people undergoing new TB treatments and crafted that into friendly comics as a communication tool to raise awareness of Vietnamese people affected by TB and the TB communities. So An will speak about the power of storytelling today and creating community-friendly assets to grow and build the capacity of Vietnam's community systems to eliminate TB. So over to you. I'm eagerly awaiting your presentation.
Thank you. Thank you, Sandy, for introducing me. Hello, everyone. My name is Ngọc Anh, and I'm very happy to be here today. Oh, thank you. I'm very happy to be here today to share some insight from our works, from activities to support BPaL named around in Vietnam. SCDI is a recipient of grant support from TB Alliance, Stop TB Partnership, CFCS, and Treatment Action Group, Accent. And so let's delve into three main topics today. With the first one, setting the scene, I will share some background in Vietnam and the progress of BPaL adoption in our country. And the second thing, I will mention about some challenge in our country and how we navigated through those challenges. And the final thing is moving forward, what we're gonna do in the future, focusing on community-led TB response. So the first thing, I want to talk about a progress of BPaL adoption in Vietnam. from World Health Organization new DRTB treatment guidelines updated in 2020. Vietnam has implemented a Live TB project, the BPaL clinical trial in Vietnam on more than 500 patients in 4 province cities in our country, and the result of the BPaL clinical trial has been used as the evidence to national scale-up of the regimen. Until January of 2024, we have updated the national TB guidelines, including new DRTB regimens, and adopting BPaL-M in 22 out of 63 province cities in our country. That 22 of the province in Vietnam is the high burden province with the DRTB, and the time that we adopt BPaL and also updated the new DRTB regimen in 63 province is now not available yet. It will based on the result of this valuation till the end of this year. And with that background, there are some challenges that we still notice. The first challenge that the information on the new novel DRTB regimen is still limited and not friendly enough for communities to access and use. And the second thing is the tuberculosis related stigma, preventing not only the TB undergoing treatment or seeking for help, but also preventing TB survivors and also the TB affected communities from sharing their stories and engage in TB related activities. And the third thing is the current support for people with TB in the health system has not effectively met the needs of vulnerable groups. I put example here like the ethnic minority people or slum dwellers. They have high risk in TB, but they have faced the challenge in accessing the information, also the treatment and prevention with TB. And the final thing I want to mention about is the community system for NTB is underinvested and not systematically recognized, and funding for community-based intervention has not been sufficiently allocated, resulting in community engagement in supporting the rollout of new DRTB regimens. And with those challenges, SCDI have done some of the activity to navigate through those challenges. The first thing we have done is we have been supporting the formation and the work of community system to NTB to reach the affected communities and provide people-centered support. As you see here on the screen is the picture of our CSS members. On the community meeting, the CSS member involved of the TB patients or maybe TB survivors, people affected by TB, and they play a crucial role to provide people-centered support for those who in need. And SCDI have been also creating and facilitating the participatory space for community to share, to discuss, and to contribute to TB elimination activity to maintain the community connection and the momentum in the TB fight. And through those participatory spaces, SCDI have given them the updated TB news, education, and information, included the availability of new drug-resistant tuberculosis regimen. And last but not least, we are collecting and sharing the stories, also the life experience of people undergoing TB treatment, including the BPaL-M in friendly formats to share the communities to reach them. And SCDI have become Fast Track the Cure partner from the start of 2023. In the conjunction of Fast Track the Cure, we have done some of social media access, include the information posts and reels to raise awareness of the community about drug-resistant tuberculosis, also the overall shorter and safer regimen, and Fast Track the Cure information as well. And the second thing that we update with the communities members and also our group, especially the group working in TB area, about the BPaL-M in-country implementation. And one of our very important product is we created 2 series of comics. The first series included 2-page comics providing the BPaL information and also the life experience of people undergoing conventional regimens. And the second series of comics is about real-life treatment and experience with the new BPaL regimen in Vietnam. When we send the comics to our partners, the question that we always receive is why you choosing comics as the way to share the stories and also the information. So we have 3 main reasons to choose comics as a asset. We have done is comics referred by people being treated for TB as they feel safe and comfortable to share because their identity is protected. If we conduct the video record or maybe article with their picture, the patient, the identity of the patient maybe have to reveal a little bit. So we chose the comics as a way to share to protect their identity. And still, the stories can be personalized and humanized with illustrations. As you see here on the screen is some of our comics. We prioritize the bright colors and also the funny characters to share the impact, the positive impact and also the advantage of the BPaL, of the new regimen of TB. Also, the comics is more friendly and exciting for communities or non-technical audience to reach and to get the information. The feeling when you read the comics, it may be more exciting when you have to read a long and very complicated text, right? And anyway, we have 2 comics are now displaying in the exhibition. So if you interest, you can go there and take a look at our picture, at our comic. And yes, this is our localized timeline with appropriate with SCDI work with Fast Track the Cure. Doing the infographic reels and posts is our initial activities from 2023. Along with that, we have shared with our community-based organization members and also CSES member about Fast Track the Cure and the drug-resistant national guideline, including BPaL with them. And like I mentioned in the previous slide, we have conducted interview with the people undergoing the conventional treatment and also BPaL to make the comics based on their real life experience. And yes, join in Fast Track to Cure that help us a lot. We have, yes. We have a lot in filling the gap in communications on new drug-resistant tuberculosis treatment in the country. Until this time, comics are distributed to 198 CSES via working group, and we are disseminating the comics to community-based organization members, the health workers, our focal point in Vietnam National TB Program. And we also send the comic to the BPaL, people undergoing BPaL who contributed their story to encourage their engagement in the movement in the future. And also we have initiated the support to improve community engagement in new drug-resistant tuberculosis regimen national rollout. And join in Fast Track to Cure, we have learned a lot from our regional colleagues in Fast Track to Cure country consortium. You are all very talented and have instilled an enthusiastic energy and a great way for us to get inspired and be creative in our work. And the last thing I want to say is that with Fast Track to Cure, we have created the synergies with the future. With our future activities, we will focus in improving provincial TB program in selected strategy province and facilitate the space for CSET members to join in. And with the CSET, with the support of the CSET members, we will identify the barriers to DRTB service and treatment adherence. And with the CSET, we develop strategies to remove the barriers of the people undergoing TB treatment. Go in more detail from our moving forward. I put here like the roadmap for you to more understanding about our work with access and experience building from fast track to cure and other work. SCDI focus on community-led model for TB intensive care and support, and also the community-led monitoring in 3 key areas. We focus on raise awareness to generate the demand. The second thing is we improve the treatment adherence and of the people undergoing TB treatment. And the final thing is improve support and mechanism for community-led response. All of that is aimed to significantly improve DRTB service, including accelerating the implementation of new DRTB regimens in Vietnam. So I put on the screen is a QR code linked to our theory of change to support the faster and safer BPaL rollout in Vietnam. So you can scan it to look in our theory of change. And so that is the end of my presentation. Thank you for your attention.
Good job, guys. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing the exciting work that's happening in Vietnam. And we wish you all the best with all those new things that you want to do as you go forward. Thanks so much, Anne, for that. So our next speaker is James Millar, based in Geneva, Switzerland, with the Stop TB Partnership. He is the community engagement and he leads the work on community engagement and human rights at Stop TB Partnership, and is the focal point for the challenge facility for civil society in Indonesia, Philippines, and India. And he's also a human rights lawyer and has worked with civil society and governments. And in his presentation, James is actually going to tell us a little bit about the challenge facility, and also to see how initiatives like the challenge facility and Fast Track the Cure actually can lead the movement of the community, engaging with the community to ensure that access is ensured for people who need it most. Over to you, James. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Blessy. And I think just before I begin, I think I wanted to just make 2 points. And one of them is the fact that it's wonderful to have a panel that's majority of which is made up of people affected by TB, who are not just here as well to sort of share a story, but to have been supported to lead work in a TB response, and that got that platform to showcase. So that's, I think, some credit due to Union for this. I think it has been a change over a long period of time, and that's important, but also TB Alliance for really making sure that they prioritised that perspective on this particular piece of work, and that deserves a lot of credit. So from my side, I work with Stop TB Partnership. I don't have any conflict of interest in this particular work. Now, I wanted to just sort of set some, I guess, broader context here, because I think a lot of these discussions that we have, we really need to get to the focus on what it is that we're doing, but also how we're doing it. And what we've heard from the four interventions here from country level partners is that how is critically important, and also the unique positioning of TB affected communities and civil society to play a role in this work. Frankly, the TB response has not been good at this over a long period of time, but we're slowly seeing some changes, and where some of the greatest elements of progress are being noted, it is where TB affected communities and civil society are playing a leading role and are being supported to play that leading role, which is why I think this initiative is something that is something that we all should applaud and see what are the opportunities, how we can learn from this in broader areas of a TB response as well. So firstly, I think just to reflect back, we had a UN high-level meeting on TB last year. As part of that, we know that there's discussions of a rights-based and equitable TB response. And very much at its heart, it's making sure that people have access to the treatment regimens that they need, they deserve. The best quality treatment options need to be made available to them. And so this is something why this initiative is critically important. But in addition to that, there's, I think, a need to make sure that when we have these solutions available, that people can access them. We know that there's a number of social, legal, human rights barriers that do impede access. They can relate to things like stigma, to discrimination, things like privacy and confidentiality. And I picked these two because I heard speakers make these notes in terms of their interventions today, and the reason that they adapted and developed the types of interventions that they did under under this initiative is because those were things that their communities had prioritized, and being from the community themselves, they were able to develop the solutions that can help overcome them. Now, for the challenge facility for civil society I'm going to move a little bit quickly here because I realize that we're a little bit behind time. So I wanted to say challenge facility for civil society, it's a stop TB mechanism to support TB affected communities, civil society, grassroots organization to drive a transformative TB response. And there's lots of buzzwords in there, but very much at its heart, it's let's make sure we get money into the hands of people affected by TB. But in addition to that, let's provide them with additional capacity building and support so that they can flourish, so that they can thrive, so that they can be successful. And beyond that, let's not just have one grant for you, one grant for you, and one grant for you. Let's use the limited resources that we have in TB and going to civil society and affected communities to build a movement, that can help us get to ending TB by 2030. So we have a blended finance mechanism. It's supported by USAID and Initiative. Historically, it was also supported by Global Fund. And I think that it's wonderful to sort of see the support from donors into this initiative. But also what's really key here is the partnerships that can be made with other initiatives, which is very much what we're talking about here today. Now, this opportunity for partnership is you've got a mechanism with over 113 grantees in round 12 across 38 countries. We now have over 200 grantees. So this is the leading mechanism supporting TB-affected communities and civil society for this work on community engagement, on accountability, on demand generation, and on human rights-based responses. So this is why this is such an instrumental mechanism and why it's so strategic to form partnerships for BPaL-M. And so, wanted to thank TB Alliance for actively reaching out to see what opportunity we could have to leverage this mechanism to really have impact, firstly in these 4 countries, and then going forward in the further countries as you look to scale up. So as I said, you can see on the graph on the slide as well that this is a mechanism that used to be very small. And again, this is very illustrative of the fact that there is not enough funding in TB going to communities. You had, up until 2018, around the time of the first UN high-level meeting on TB, you had $500,000 for basically supporting community advocacy and community mobilization and engagement. There was significant jumps in recent years to 2.5 million, to 7.5 million, to 10.5 million, and now we're at a space of 13.5 million. Now, there is still a funding gap in this mechanism where about 80% of quality demand is not funded. 80% is not funded. So there's 2 things to say here. First, there needs to be other initiatives which can come in and complement, very much like the Fast Track to Cure and this initiative with TB Alliance. But beyond that as well, I want to use the platform to really, emphasize the importance of the support from USAID and the initiative, but also to sort of call upon other donors to explore the opportunity to invest in this mechanism so we can close that particular funding gap on, quality demand that is very much present. I think we've all seen at the Union Conference, there's been a big presence of affected community and civil society. And from the side of Stop TB, we've been thrilled to support community partners to be here. There's over 100 interventions and activities being led by Challenge Facility partners. So again, it's not simply a sort of a participatory, a turn up to a conference in Indonesia. There is an active role with new work, new ideas, and effective solutions that are able to be shared. So that is also why this is something that's I think really, really important and something that we can look to sort of build on and continue to growing forward. Now, I think that I note that as part of this broader CRG or community rights and gender piece of work, a lot of these grantees also lead work to measure stigma, to do community-led monitoring, to in real time capture barriers to access, to do size estimations of key and vulnerable populations. These are also the same groups who drove the advocacy at country level for the high-level meeting on TB, who led the work around governance reports on national TB programs, and have also been the ones who have now, for the very first time in many countries, led coordination efforts of Global Fund, Grant Cycle 7 discussions at country level. So now we have a place where TB communities are doing this. And I wanted to make that point because it shows that we have now this expertise in things like advocacy, for demand generation, for things like BPaL, right? But from groups who have that expertise to take this forward and can complement this work across different areas. As opposed to it just being a siloed one-off initiative, there's an opportunity to leverage other resources, leverage other initiatives, leverage partnerships to really make sure that we can be effective in this initiative. So again, to conclude, I think a thank you to the Fast Track for Cure, to TB Alliance, but particularly as well to each of the partners at country level who have also seen this opportunity to sort of leverage some of that challenge facility to support, to build on and take this initiative forward. So with that, I'll stop here, and I think that there's some slides that I'm handing over to Blessy.
Thank you, James. Just wanted to have an opportunity to very briefly tell you about our work. It's going to be very different to the work that our other partners have been doing because there's lots of excitement, lots of energy. Unfortunately, in India, we still do not have access to BPaL and BPaL-M. I hope everyone in the room has heard that. Please keep it in mind when you attend sessions. Our people who need the shorter, safer regimen do not have access to it yet. So we receive grants, so that's one conflict of interest. But just to say that we took off quite late with the project because there were quite a lot of challenges. We weren't thinking about BPaL, BPaL-M in India. We weren't thinking about shorter, safer regimens. So our advocacy was very, very different. We started, kind of reaching out to our political leaders. We wrote letters to our Prime Minister, hoping that on World TB Day, there would be some announcement really urging and pleading with him that some announcement would be made. We had a pilot project that was already completed with 250 people, and it gave fantastic results, but still there still continues to be a lot of hesitation in rolling this out. We had a change.org petition by Mira, TB survivor, XDR TB survivor, and we also did follow-up letters, reached out to people who we felt had the power to make the difference. But unfortunately, our efforts, I don't know how successful they were at that time. We also did a lot of social media, kind of posts, and started a BPaL is my right campaign. And we did videos of survivors actually saying that I went through, 2 years or 2.5 years of very painful injectable treatment, and we don't want anyone else to go through it. We did media engagement. We put together an expert think tank of journalists, lawyers, implementers, policymakers to come and kind of hear why we are pushing for this. And after that, we had the journalists actually take this on, and some of the leading dailies had articles on the need to roll out BPaL very, very rapidly in India. We also started working with the community. We developed a training manual on all oral shorter regimens, safer regimens for people with DRTB. And we trained people at the community level. We also brought out a community brochure on communities to understand what this is so that they can also demand. And we continue to do trainings, and we hope that, I mean, we did hear an announcement sometime in September that BPaL will be rolled out. We are waiting very, very eagerly for that to happen. So we also can have jingles and songs soon.
So we have just 5 minutes remaining, and we went very much over time, and apologies for not managing the time very well. Blessy, shall we take one burning question? Okay, and then we wrap up?
Yeah.
Okay, so the first one to get their hand up. Okay, I spotted that first, apologies. So, okay, please go ahead. Please introduce yourself. Do we have mics in the room?
Okay, thank you, sir and madam. My name is Arif from Stop TB Partnership Indonesia, and it's great to hear a lot of lessons about BPaL campaign from around the world, Indonesia, Vietnam, and also Philippines. Can I ask more than one question, or just one? Okay, maybe only one question that I really want to ask here. So in Stop TB Partnership Indonesia, we also do campaign about BPaL, and we also collaborate with WKI also. And from my experience when implementing the campaign of BPaL-M, when it comes to the NTP or the policy-making party, they always respond, yes, we have BPaL, but we also have another regimen for the RTB. So that is the challenge. So how is the lessons learned from Indonesia as well, Vietnam and Philippines in communicating about this matter? There is BPaL-M, which is faster, and there is fewer drugs to take, but other regimens is also available because from the government side, they say that this is in Indonesian case, the drugs people when they are diagnosed with DRTB, for some cases they cannot just be given with BPaL-M because it needs to be matched from the diagnosis. And when we talk to the community, when we talk to the TB patients in the field, when they hear about this BPaL-M regimen, the new regimen, they always curious if they can receive the regimen from BPaL-M.
No,
that's it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Given we have very little time, I would have ideally, this is a great question, ideally asked each one of our partners to tell what happened in their field. But two volunteers in 40 seconds each, can you give an answer? Who wants to go first? Yere, you want Louis? Louis wants to go first, and Yere?
Yes, that's what we call manual of procedures. So you have to really know what are the approved regimens for all of these new regimens. Now, BPaL is our automatic default for DRTB, but if you cannot be in that regimen, if you have a heart problem, if you are with other comorbidities, you're supposed to be back on the short all-oral regimen, which is 9 months. If it's not going to be happening again, you have to go to the ITR, 18 months. So the laboratories that needs to be done by our service providers needs to be followed. You cannot automatically go to BPaL just because it's new. No, there's still a lot of age limit. There's still a lot of these comorbidities that has to be done with our laboratories. So that's what, of course, our research team has informed my civil society that you need to be sure to include the inclusions, exclusions. You know, just not promote the new regimen right away.
Thank you, Louis. Yere?
Yep, thanks, Masari, for the question. I think we developed also the article for both the people affected by TB and also the healthcare workers. So it educate that not all the DRTB confirmed cases started the BPaL and BPaL-M. Although the 70 and until 80% lately will become the biggest proportion using the BPaL-based regimen. So yes, it's true. In Indonesia, there's no campaign for DRTB nationally. So we talked with the STPI and also the MOH that this campaign is filling the gap for how we become aware DRTB and also the EMR. So one of the instrument we use in the article, and you can see that in the landing page sembuhlebihcepat.yki4tbc.org. So thanks for that.
Thank you. And one of the things I do want to point out is that the name of the campaign is Fast Track the Cure. It is not Fast Track BPaL, right? There's a reason behind it, because whatever is contemporary, current, is needed, recommended by global policy should be fast tracked. So that's the idea. We'll wrap up, but this is not over. We have a lunch and learn on Fast Track the Cure on Friday 15th at 11:30 to 1:30 at the Laguna Resort. So please come up. It's going to be very informal, but again, a continued collective learning opportunity. So if you've got questions, you want to interact with Fast Track the Cure partners, please come. And Robin promises me it's going to be a very exciting event. And you'll get an opportunity to dance with the YKI team and do the jingle, okay?
And we have lots of giveaways. Maria Smilios' new book, NTB stigma shirts, the jacket that Yuri showed. So we have giveaways, we have lunch. You can scan the QR code on the flyer that you got, or maybe Joy can help hand them out so you all have one, to register so that we know how much catering we need. So you won't be talked at that space. I think we will have had enough of that by Friday. So it will be fun, engaging, interactive only.
Yeah, thank you so much for this great session. Thanks to all our partners. A big round of applause.
Yes. Fast Track the Cure.
Yes. And remember to keep thinking about it throughout the conference, and every opportunity you get, raise the issue of how important it is to have access to shorter, safer DRTB regimen. Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, Joy.
Fast Track the Cure.
6 months max.
Fast Track the Cure.
6 months max.
Fast Track the Cure.
6 months max.
Perfect. Okay. Take a picture.
Yeah, if anyone is around and wants to take a quick picture, we'll do a group photo. You can come grab
Yes,
props
please
or
come
just
over.
leave, whatever you want. It's all good.
Yeah.